Health and performance are two separate ideas, and that is something that the fitness community, particularly online, is willfully ignorant of. I have a migraine condition, which means that I spend quite a lot of time in the doctor's office. I have to go to get regular checkups, I have to go to discuss new treatment options, I get, bloods done pretty regularly, the whole works, right? And it's pretty shitty, but every now and again something pretty valuable comes out of it. And I recently had a conversation with a doctor that was just that. And they decided to share with me a little nugget of wisdom that was health and performance are not the same thing. And I couldn't agree more. Health and performance are not the same thing. And while, for a long time they might be pretty closely related, at the extreme ends of any sport, they diverge. The paths they take are not the same. And in fact, chasing that last ounce of performance can damage your health. And chasing that last ounce of health can damage your performance. But that's not, necessarily a bad thing. If you've decided that your performance one day is worth, a bit of a knock to your health, and you can make that decision, that cost-benefit analysis, in an informed and intelligent way, there's nothing wrong with making that decision. But it's quite easy to be not completely informed and to not be able to make that comprehensive, that holistic decision that you need to. So I want to talk about a few things that you should be aware of when it comes to fitness, and some things that you'll see that aren't health and performance being, best friends that go hand in hand. I've spent the past 4 months or so transitioning from bodybuilding to powerlifting. And there are examples of this in bodybuilding, it's just at the moment I'm powerlifting, so that's why I'm talking about it, not bashing powerlifting. But yeah, powerlifting is a prime example of this. I hear stories of people doing water cuts where, they won't drink for, 24 hours and get dehydrated. They'll be on the bus to their competitions spitting into pots so they can lose that last 100 grams of weight. And beyond that, there's constant injury risk with powerlifting. I mean, the amount of time that, even just university level powerlifters spend injured with bad hips, bad knees, bad joints, bad shoulders, bad pecs, bad whatever it is they've done this time is incredible. These are serious health risks that powerlifters put themselves through. Again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just you need to be aware that you're putting yourself through the risk, to be able to put yourself through the risk in a way that you can understand and you can weigh up the pros and the cons properly. You have the autonomy to make the risk-reward judgment. However you pick is your prerogative, right? I don't want to bash whichever direction you go. I don't want to bash people for chasing extreme performance. I want you to be aware that when you make that decision, there are costs attached to it. Another pretty easy example to pick on in the fitness community is restrictive eating. I'll put some studies and links and references in the description with a bit more detail, but the key points are roughly as follows. Calorie restrictive diets, especially calorie counting, encourage disordered eating. Bulking and cutting encourages disordered eating. And being super lean is unhealthy. Now, obviously, that last one, there is the other side of the coin that being super overweight is unhealthy. But I don't think that's an idea that people in the fitness community aren't aware of, so I'm going to sort of leave it. you know, and I don't want to go into too much detail. I'm leaving it to the description intentionally for risk of, triggering negative habits in viewers who might be sensitive to this type of discussion. And, I don't even want to discourage these behaviours. There are performance advantages to bulking and cutting, or, if you're a pro bodybuilder, being super lean, or a long distance runner, being lighter is better for your performance. It's just not healthy. And, the fitness community, online has this kind of consensus of best practice, right? Bulking and cutting is how you get bigger in a bodybuilding context if you listen to people on TikTok. There isn't another way. You have to do it. But that's, short-sighted, and it ignores the health downsides that come with the performance upsides. There are these risks that you won't have been told about by these people. And, these sorts of behaviours have actually led me in, almost totality to stop watching, fitness content, especially short form fitness content. I think details matter, and the structure and the algorithms of certain short form platforms encourage willful ignorance, arguably to the point of malice, among creators. They aren't encouraged to give you full pictures. They're encouraged to give you little slices to get you interested. And, I spent a bit of time thinking about it, and I realised that I just didn't want to see that sort of content anymore. It was that simple. It didn't make me happy. It made me sad. There are lots of creators who I used to really like, whose content I thought I really enjoyed. And I just don't actually want to see it. And, I'm not sure that's something I would encourage people to do, but, I think it's something I'd encourage people to think about. I'd also like to mention that this idea of informed decision making is not an intellectual benefit. I have had bad experiences with restrictive eating, and at the time I was pretty ignorant of it. I only stopped once I realised that it wasn't healthy. I hadn't clocked that it wasn't healthy while I was doing it. I didn't realise because it wasn't something that had been presented to me. I didn't appreciate the downsides and the risks and the costs to it. And once I understood them and I appreciated them, I could start on the path of recovery. But only once I'd done that. And the damage had been done by then. It was, a bit late. I don't think that it's necessarily the case for most people who have negative experiences like that they're completely unaware. But I think being more open and being more transparent about those risks, it certainly couldn't hurt. To finish off, I just want to say it's really, really easy to see people online who are doing better than you at whatever it is that you care about, and to fall for, the appeal to authority fallacy, and to just listen to these misinformed morons who don't practice what they preach and just pump roids, and to hurt yourself doing all of this nonsense that they propel. Even the well-informed people out there can give incomplete advice that doesn't account for anything other than performance. Maybe it doesn't account for the mental strain or the health effects that it has on you. I just want people to be more wary of this.